This new model home has amazing upgrades like a massive patio and a unique kitchen design, but you got to see the views in this new section in one of the most underrated communities in the Austin, Texas metro area. Now, I'm going to get into the community in a second. First, let me tell you a little bit more about this floor plan. This is the Stanley plan built by Highland Homes. It's over 3,400 square feet before you do any structural upgrades. I'll get into what structural upgrades are in a second, but this can be anywhere from a 4 to 5 bedroom home, 3 to 4 full bathrooms. It's got a half bath, but you can add another powder bathroom to the home, which I'll actually show you in this model home. And there's so much that I'm going to show you here. Like, you saw tall ceilings when you first walk in the front door. You're going to see this main living area expand so much because you got a kitchen on the left side with so many upgrades that we're going to get to in a second. But I got to show you this main living area because you got dining room, living room, back to back. You got so much natural light coming in from the windows up on that ceiling. And then there's an upgrade in the living room that's not shown in this model home. And so if you want to build this plan from scratch, it's an upgrade I would definitely look into. And I'll cover that when we get to the living room. First, I want to start right here in the kitchen because what my clients tell me they love about kitchens like this is the contrast in colors. And that starts with the cabinets. Notice the kitchen island is a darker color. There's another kitchen island that has a darker color on the bottom, and the exterior cabinets here are very light and bright. But notice these veins running through the countertops that they ran into the backsplash going up to this under cabinet vent hood. Those veins really get pulled out by that kitchen island color. And then the upper cabinets with the lighting, it just complements all of the great design features that are shown in this kitchen. But I think you have to take in all the design in this main living area, because I got to tell you, when you go out to that position that I was in right next to the stairs, everything opens up with the tall ceilings, the windows everywhere, but it's the design that really hits on both sides of this main living area. Like, take a look at these countertops and then look across the room. You still have those countertops into the backsplash with all that cabinetry next to the dining room area. But what I got to move on to is what I'm calling a pull bar. And I shouldn't say I'm calling it. I think I got that name from the builder agent, so I don't want to take all the credit. But what I want to show you is this is very unique. Most homes with production builders have the sink in the kitchen island, but in this plan, they have a dishwasher to the side here, the sink right here, and what I want you to imagine is looking out those windows after you're doing dishes, or maybe somebody's coming in from outside, maybe you got a pool in the backyard. I want you to imagine a view back there because there are some amazing lots in this new section of Lariat, a community here in Liberty Hill, Texas, where you can get homes like this that are open concept, tray ceiling, windows, amazing design work that's along that stairwell, and so many great features inside a home that can really take advantage of the beauty that's here in Liberty Hill, Texas. And I think if you look at this new section in Lariat, you really start to understand why more and more people are looking at Liberty Hill, Texas. Now, I'm not sure about this dining room with the name tags. Have you ever had name tags in your house? But I think it's still a cool feature. I was looking around. There's Molly, there's Bailey. I imagine they don't have my name in there, Raj, but that's all good. I love the design and the fun, quirky things they put into these model homes. And my clients always tell me they love fun designs like this. Like, take a look at the cabinetry with all those glass inserts, lighting, and it's just such a great design piece off of this dining area, where obviously the dining feels like it's a part of the living room just because it's all connected in, but it still feels like it's its own unique space, which I think is important, especially in these open concept homes. But this is going to be the most important part of this main living area. Notice how the fireplace brick that goes all the way to the ceiling cuts off and the ceiling goes down. At the time I'm recording this video, there is an upgrade where you can extend that ceiling so it's straight, it's more modern, and instead of going down into the back wall, it would just go straight into the back wall. So instead of that fireplace brick looking cut off, it would just go straight and it would extend the ceiling height. And I think this is so important to do because you would be surprised at how many people enter this main living area, and without that upgrade, they say, wow, this living room just feels a little bit more constricted. What's going on here? But it's because they toured this similar plan to this or another model home that does have that upgrade, and it just feels incredibly different. And by the way, this island definitely feels different. Let me know what you think about that in the comments. I definitely want to hear from people on what they think about those two different islands in the kitchen. Now, there is an extended patio that you're going to see here in the model home, which I also think is important. But I want to go back to that living room. Why people tell me that ceiling height is so important in the living room is two reasons. Number one, that's where they spend the majority of their time. That living room and that ceiling height is important. And to have sliding glass doors in that living room that lead out to this big patio, it makes the space feel bigger, right? Because you can just open up those patio doors if you're having a party, if you're worried about bugs or critters getting into your home. There are mosquito nets that you can put on this patio. You just have to have the right upgrades. If the builder does not offer it, it's usually just a matter of putting electrical up in the soffit or the ceiling of that patio and then having mosquito nets come down, which will make that outdoor space feel like it's a part of the indoor space when you can just open up those sliding glass doors. But this is where people tell me they want their upgrades. It's where they spend a lot of time. They also want amazing views, which you see here in this new section of Lariat. Do you see all that dirt? That dirt might look ugly to you because it's not grass, it's not beautiful green. That is beautiful to me because that tells me there is a lot of great lots that are coming up in this community of Lariat, which I'll cover in a second. Going back to that main living area, I'll tell you the second reason why people say that that's a very important upgrade to put in is future resale. When you look at the resale value of homes, most buyers make their decision emotionally on whether they're going to buy a home after they walk in the home for the first 30 to 90 seconds of walking in. So that means your main living area has to hit. That's why putting upgrades in your kitchen is important. That's why making your living room look beautiful and tall ceilings, lots of windows. You're trying to get that future buyer to buy into your home emotionally when they walk those main living areas and the primary bedroom, which we're seeing right here, and the primary bathroom. After that, a lot of secondary options that are in the home, it's usually just confirmation bias. Like a lot of people might say, oh, the secondary bedroom and bathroom is amazing, but they're just confirming their bias. Like they already bought into the home emotionally. That's why they're coming up with all these things. Or they may not like a secondary bedroom and bathroom, but they say, oh, this isn't that big of a deal. They're saying that because they're already bought into your home emotionally. And that's why that first 30 to 90 seconds of walking in through the main areas of the home is so important. And that's why I think options like this, floor plans like this that have a freestanding tub, tile all the way across this frameless glass shower, these are the things that I think really hit for buyers in this current market. And if you're looking at future resale value, there's so many things that I would put into this home that I think is going to come back to you years down the road when you sell it. And this is also going to come back to you. Take a look at the floor tile, which is very light, has some veins running through it, and then those veins get pulled out by this wall tile, which has some great movement in it. Notice how just a little bit of movement in that tile and the lights reflect so much off of that tile, and I think that makes a big difference in this bathroom. I've had people use a darker wall tile before, or look at darker wall tiles, and then when we look at that darker wall tile, I try to find it in a home that the builder has already under construction, and it just feels way too dark in there. And so then I usually recommend try to find a tile on the wall that's a little bit more glossy, that has a little bit more movement in it, and it makes all the difference. And that's exactly what they used in that bathroom. Now stick with me here, there's still a lot to see. I'm going to show you some lots that are available at the time I'm recording this video, and you can start to see the beauty that's here in Lariat. So I'll cover that in a couple of minutes. There's also still a lot to see here on this first floor. Like we got a second bedroom downstairs, we got a study, we got a room that a lot of my clients are telling me I wish I had that on my first floor, not my second floor. And maybe, you know, they're preferring it on the first floor is a better way to say it. It's not like they don't use it on their second floor at all. But it's something that I want to show you and get your perspective on. So stick with me here. And by the way, some of the structural upgrades that are in this home are very simple. First things first, we saw an extended outdoor living, which just bumps out the patio. I would say in most Highland plans, they have an option for that. And it's usually an option I would recommend taking if you're going to spend a lot of time outdoors, just because when these homes are already built, you probably don't want to be doing concrete work in your backyard because the machinery that you can take back there is not easy to fit in once these homes are already built out. And by the way, I missed the pantry earlier, but that's not your pantry. That is a separate storage area, and this is your pantry, which I think is definitely unusual at this square footage, being in the mid 3,000s. And kudos to Highland. I think they listen to buyers a lot, and a lot of buyers have complained about these tiny pantry areas. And there's a Costco going in Liberty Hill, and it's the big talking point. Costco and Target have been announced, and so a lot of people are thinking, like, how can I go to Costco when I have like a linen closet to put all my food? So I totally get that. I think that's a great closet space. Let me know what you think about that. And then we got laundry here, and I gotta test this out. Do we have enough room for the door when you put cabinets? I think you do. I was like, this is me imagining taking laundry out, and I feel like you have enough space. Let me know if you need that sink there. I think some people say they would rather have just a countertop there to be able to fold their clothes like right on the spot. And sometimes I hear that from clients. And then this is a mud bench, and that's because around the corner would be access to a 3-car tandem garage. Now, they don't have it as a garage space because that's the builder agent's office, but if you build this plan from scratch, that's where the tandem garage space would be. Now, I'm going to keep going with some of the structural upgrades that are in here, but I want to show you something that at the time I'm recording this is already included, and that is a entertainment/media room downstairs right here. And I think this is so interesting because a lot of my clients tell me especially when they have kids, the kids stay on the second floor, and if their media room's on the second floor and their kids are already asleep at 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. or 9 p.m., whenever your kids are asleep, you can't enjoy the media room, especially if it's close by to one of their bedrooms. And so a lot of my clients are telling me they wish they had a media room downstairs. In fact, one of my clients who built a plan with Highland recently, they have their entertainment room downstairs. They watch a ton of movies. We'll see if that changes. Shout out to them if they're watching. They're actually expecting on their first child. So once that child comes, I'm not sure how much in movies you're going to be watching, but they loved watching movies. And when they had a lot of family come down and visit them and check out their new home, they loved the fact that they had a media room downstairs. And what's funny is they bought their first home with me 4.5 years ago, and they had their media room upstairs, and they still used it, but they knew that once they had family over and somebody was using that guest bedroom upstairs, if one of their parents was sleeping early or they wanted to watch a movie on their own, they just couldn't do that when they were upstairs. And so they love having a media room downstairs. So let me know what you think about that. We also just saw the powder bathroom, which is, I think, strategically located right off of the main living area. Perfect for guests. This study has wainscoting on the walls. Let me know what you think about this. I got a client that just did this after closing. I still have to grab a video of it, but what they told me is it came out so well and they're excited for me to see it. But I've also had people just do an accent wall right behind me, so it'd be the far wall. As soon as you enter, it's whatever the far wall is. It's just like a different color on that wall, so you can keep it simple. So I've had people do that. And then I've also had people that when the study is next to the entertainment room, you might be worried about sound, so get some sound absorbing panels. And I've had people buy those before and then make a fun design on the wall that serves the purpose. It's a fun design. It breaks up the walls in that study, but it also absorbs a lot of sound. Now take a peek at this. Do you see those hills in the back? I wouldn't call these like rolling hills, but there's definitely topography out in this community called Lariat. And I'm going to show you a section that's currently for sale at the time I'm recording this here in a second. I want to also show you that this bedroom downstairs has an in-suite full bathroom, and I love the tile going all the way up to the ceiling here. And take a look closer at those orange-ish veins, or rewind the video back. You should take a look at that because I think they really get pulled out because of the wall color that's in here. That's a fun design to do in a downstairs bathroom. I'm not sure about doing it the whole way into the bedroom. I mean, you could also just do an accent wall. There's so many things that you could do there from a design standpoint, but I love taking fun designs from model homes and getting inspired from them. Now, this downstairs bedroom, full bathroom is so important. I say it in almost every video. A lot of people tell me they have parents staying with them or somebody elderly. They don't want them going up and down the steps. And so they have to have that. They have to have that study. They have to have tall ceilings. They have to have windows everywhere. And they have to build on lots like this. Now, these are the 70s lots that were just released here in Lariat, and I'm in this community a lot. I have been for months because I'm always showing lots that are coming up months from now. So if you want access to a weekly newsletter where I show you lots that are coming up months from now, scan the QR code on your screen or go to the link at the top of the description of this video. One thing I did want to call out there was some greenery, but some of that, most of that greenery, I should say, if not all of it, is going to be in somebody else's property that are behind those homes. Now, behind those homes, what I've been told is there's acreage lots back there that are already owned by different property owners, but obviously these are the details we definitely need to verify before you make a buying decision, and so that's just something that I heard in passing. But as I get people a little bit closer to looking at those lots, potentially building on them, this is where I really try to dive in through the details, because as you can see here on this model home, which had a staircase that opened up so well, but I love these windows that really show Lariat, but also show, like, especially if you're a corner lot here, that's such a great plan feature to have, is windows off the side, because when you get to the top of a landing on a stairwell and everything opens up so well, then you get this game room slash loft area. Love the bench in the back, love the accent wall that's here. Everything feels so open. It's because it's a fairly large room. Like, you get a foosball table here, you get a table in front of a TV, and then don't underestimate the nook. I've had so many people tell me, I want that nook, I want that cushion, and my client who built with Highland said they absolutely love their nook area. They love it so much in their game room on one of the plans that they built. They actually worked with one of my contacts after closing to build a bench for them in their breakfast nook area, because in their breakfast nook area, they already had cabinetry running all the way down on that side, so they built this really cool bench there. But this is what I mean by the game room here. It feels expansive because of those windows being a corner lot. It looks out to the beauty that's here in Liberty Hill, Texas. It looks down into the main living area and the dining, and everything feels so open concept. And I keep coming back to this because I got to tell you, if you're looking at floor plans online and you see, well, X amount of square footage, X amount of bedrooms, well, it's got this room and this room and this room, those numbers can be very deceptive. I've walked homes at this exact same square footage and they look completely different. And I've walked this home with that ceiling height extended out rather than going down. It's that upgrade that I mentioned previously in the living room. And I feel like the main living area looks completely different. And I've walked it with clients and they said, wow, this looks completely different with that ceiling height upgrade. I think we should do that if we decide to build this plan from scratch. And so these are the types of things that I really try to dive in the details on, because I think details matter, and you'd be surprised at how big of a difference they make. And I'm going to talk about those differences here in a second, and we're going to go through some of the spare bedrooms that are upstairs. I'm also going to talk about what's coming up here in this community of Lariat. And you're getting a glimpse of that here. So there are more model homes coming up on this street, and I'm so excited to see this section come up, because there was just a construction trailer, which you saw there, and they were using that as the sales trailer because they didn't have any model homes. But this model home was just completed 2 weeks prior to me shooting this, and I'm excited to see these homes now, or at least one of them completed, and I'm excited to see more. Now, first things first, I want to get into the differences between homes depending on the upgrades that you choose. And this is something that I've really honed in on, especially after doing, this for years and really representing clients through the build process now for about 5 years. What I've seen on the resale market is when you don't pick upgrades that make sense for future buyers, it really costs you in the long run, especially in these new build neighborhoods. Because if you're up against, you have a beautiful floor plan, but that floor plan is popular, a lot of people are building it in that community. Guess what? When you go to resell this home, chances are you might be reselling it with somebody also down the street from you selling this same floor plan. And so picking upgrades that make sense can be the difference of tens of thousands of dollars. And by the way, this is a powder bathroom, so there is an upgrade up here to get an in-suite full bathroom. So instead of just having one full bathroom, you have 2 full bathrooms in each bedroom. Obviously, you don't want guests going through the bedroom to get to a bathroom, so then you have this half bath option, which is fantastic. And that there's a half bath downstairs, so you end up getting 2 half baths. Now, these are some of the options that I'm exploring with my clients, and everybody has the same constraint. The constraint is always budget. And I don't care who you are, everybody has some sort of number they don't want to go above. And it's not like everybody has limitless money. So everybody has this constraint. So then the question is what can we maximize out of that budget to make sure that you're getting all the things that you want in your home so it's livable for you, but what also is going to come back to you at future resale. And of course, in these social media videos, I can give you different points or tips, but the details are what matter. I think I mentioned that multiple times now. And these are the things that my team and I are going through with clients so that when they build their home, they're not only getting the things they want, they're also getting great future resale value. And I got to tell you, I've seen floor plans that are the exact same square footage resale in a community, and they are $50,000 or $80,000 off. I have so many different examples I could show you where if you don't pick the right upgrades, it can cost you tens of thousands of dollars, especially in these new build communities where your floor plan's probably built by other people too, and so you will have to compete with them when you go to resale. This is something that I really focus in on. Now, if you're somebody that's just looking at the Austin metro area, you're entertaining what's out there, you want to see more lots, like lots that are through that window that are coming up down the road that you can build your dream home on, then go ahead and scan the QR code at the bottom right of this screen or click the link at the top of the description of this video. Now, if you want to book a call with me and discuss your criteria, you want that unbiased perspective on your best options, then scan the QR code at the bottom left. It starts a text message that you can send to me, and I'd be happy to help you out. Hope this helps. Take care.